In July 1980, Diana received two pieces of news, one after the other. The sudden death of her beloved grandfather and the news that Charles was coming to see her. While Diana was crying with funeral grief, she had to prepare for the prince who would change her life forever that same day. How did what happened that day affect Diana? July 30th, 1980, Wednesday morning. There was an early knock on Diana's bedroom door at Althorpe Estate. 19-year-old Diana opened the door sleepily to find her father, Earl Spencer, standing there. John Spencer's face showed deep sorrow. "Diana, darling," her father spoke in a soft voice. "I need to talk to you. Come downstairs." Diana's heart began to beat rapidly. She recognized this tone from her father. This wasn't the tone of someone bringing good news. In Althorpe's great hall, Diana sat facing her father and stepmother, Rain Spencer. Despite the early hour, Rain was fully dressed, as if she had been expecting this news. "Diana," John Spencer took a deep breath. "We've received bad news about your grandfather, Lord Fermoy." Diana's heart stopped. Her grandfather, Maurice Roche, 4th Baron Fermoy, was someone Diana loved dearly and who had always supported her. As a child, Diana would spend hours with him, learning to dance from her grandfather. "What happened to him?" Diana's voice was trembling. "He passed away in his sleep last night," John Spencer said gently. "He had a heart attack. He didn't suffer at all." Diana felt as if struck by lightning. Her grandfather was only 64 years old. Last week he had called Diana asking how she was, talking about her work in London. "This can't be possible," Diana whispered. "We talked last week. He was fine." Rain Spencer approached Diana. "The funeral will be on Monday. We need to be there as a family." Diana began to cry. Her grandfather was very special to her. He was the person who had supported her most during her parents' divorce. Her grandfather had also discovered Diana's passion for dance. The family talked about funeral arrangements for about an hour. Diana listened while crying. Losing her grandfather was very painful. Around 11 a.m., the phone rang. John Spencer answered. "Hello. Yes, this is Earl Spencer." "What? Really? Of course. Yes, Diana is here." "All right, I'll tell her." Diana saw her father's facial expression change. Sadness gave way to surprise. "What was that about?" Diana asked. John Spencer hung up the phone and turned to Diana. "That was Sarah calling." Sarah was Diana's older sister and had previously dated Prince Charles. This relationship had ended about 2 years ago. What did Sarah want? Diana wondered. Prince Charles is coming here this afternoon," John Spencer said. "He wants to see you." Diana was shocked. "See me? Why would he want to see me?" "I don't know, darling. Sarah just said Charles would be coming here today and wanted to talk to you." Diana looked at her father with confusion. The news of her grandfather's death was bad enough. Now Prince Charles was coming too. This was a very strange coincidence. "But I'm in funeral grief." "I look terrible," Diana said, crying. Rain Spencer interjected. "Diana, this is a big opportunity. You need to impress Prince Charles." "But my grandfather died," Diana screamed. "How can I think about impressing Prince Charles?" "I'm mourning." John Spencer approached his daughter and hugged her. "Diana, I know today is a very difficult day. But life is like this sometimes. Good and bad things happen at the same time." As Diana stood in her father's arms with tears, 1,000 questions ran through her mind. Why did Prince Charles want to see her? What did Sarah know about this? And most importantly, how would she cope with such a thing on the day she lost her grandfather? When will Charles come? Diana asked. Sarah said he'll come at 3, John Spencer replied. Diana looked at the clock. It was 11:15. She only had 4 hours to prepare. But how would she prepare? How would she talk to the Prince of Wales when her heart was filled with pain? I can't do it. Diana shook her head. Not today, another day. Diana, Rain spoke sharply, such opportunities don't come twice. You can't refuse Prince Charles. But I'm mourning? Diana repeated. John Spencer took his daughter's hands. Diana, what would your grandfather say? He always encouraged you to be brave. He used to say Diana has a great future. These words affected Diana. Her grandfather had indeed always encouraged her, supported her to dream big. All right, Diana said very slowly, but I don't know how to behave. Be natural, John Spencer advised. Charles already knows you. Just be yourself. As Diana prepared for that afternoon, her heart was filled with mixed emotions. She was very sad because of her grandfather's death. But Prince Charles's visit also excited her. While bathing, tears continued to flow. Her grandfather loved her so much. Diana, you are very special, he used to say to her. One day you will do very important things. Diana was very indecisive about what to wear. How formal should she dress? How simple? How should she behave while in funeral grief? Finally, she chose a simple but elegant dress. Navy blue, long-sleeved, slightly below the knee. Not very formal, but respectful. She left her hair slightly wavy because she knew Charles liked this hairstyle. At 2:30 p.m., she was ready. When she looked in the mirror, her eyes were still swollen from crying, but she still looked beautiful. At 3 p.m., the door rang. Diana's heart began beating wildly. This was Prince Charles. When John Spencer opened the door, the Prince of Wales stood before him. Charles was dressed casually, not formally. Pants, sweater, and jacket. Earl Spencer, thank you for receiving me. Charles showed courtesy. Charles, please. Welcome, John Spencer replied. As Charles entered, he saw Diana. Diana was standing in the middle of the hall, looking very tense. Lady Diana, Charles approached. I'm pleased to see you. I'm pleased to meet you, Your Royal Highness. Diana made a slight curtsy. Charles noticed that Diana's eyes were swollen. Is everything all right? You look sad. I lost my grandfather this morning, Diana said softly. Charles's facial expression immediately changed. I'm so sorry. That's terrible. I should come another time. No, Diana hurried. If I had known you were coming, it's no problem, John Spencer interjected. Charles, would you like to walk in the garden? Diana can show you Althorpe. If Diana wants to, Charles said politely. Diana nodded. Althorpe's gardens were very beautiful, and it was Diana's favorite place. She had spent a lot of time there with her grandfather, too. When Charles and Diana went out to the garden, Diana had relaxed a bit. Nature always calmed her. Were you very close to your grandfather? Charles asked kindly. Very close. Diana's eyes filled again. He always encouraged me. I learned to dance from him. Do you like dancing? Charles wondered. I love it, Diana replied. My grandfather taught me classical dancing. I even used to partner with him sometimes. Charles smiled. I also like dancing. Maybe we'll dance together someday. This suggestion surprised Diana. Did Prince Charles want to dance with her? They walked in the garden for about an hour. Charles was asking Diana questions, and she was answering. Although Diana was very tense at first, she gradually relaxed. Charles was very kind and understanding. He saw that Diana was sad and tried to comfort her. "How do you spend your time in London?" Charles asked. "I work as a kindergarten teacher," Diana replied. "I love working with children." "That's a very nice profession," Charles approved. "You must be very patient with children." "Children make me happy," Diana said sincerely. "They are so innocent and honest." Charles really liked this answer. Diana's love for children had impressed him. At 4:30 p.m., Charles had to leave. At the door, he turned to Diana. "Lady Diana, it was very nice spending time with you today. When your grief passes, maybe we can meet again." "I was pleased too," Diana replied sincerely. After Charles left, Diana sat down and thought about that day. In the morning, she had received news of her grandfather's death. In the afternoon, she had walked with the Prince of Wales. What a strange day this was. As Diana went to bed that night, she was thinking about Charles's last words. "When your grief passes, maybe we can meet again." Was this another meeting invitation? Diana couldn't sleep at all that night. Two things kept spinning in her mind: her grandfather's death and the afternoon spent with Charles. These two opposite emotions left her in a very confused state. The next morning at breakfast, her father asked about Diana's condition. "Yesterday was a very difficult day," Diana confessed. "Losing my grandfather is very painful. But talking with Charles was also very strange." "Why strange?" John Spencer wondered. "I don't know," Diana replied thoughtfully. "He's very different. Much warmer and more understanding than I expected." Rain Spencer was sitting at the breakfast table listening to this conversation. "Diana, it's very obvious that Charles is showing interest in you. You need to take advantage of this." "Rain, my grandfather just died yesterday," Diana said angrily. "I'm not in the mood to think about romance." "But life doesn't stop, Diana," Rain insisted. "An opportunity like Charles won't come again." Diana got up from the table. This conversation was bothering her. While she should be preparing for her grandfather's funeral, thinking about Charles made her feel guilty. That week passed with funeral preparations. Diana was very sad, but her meeting with Charles was constantly on her mind. This made her feel even more confused. On the funeral day, Diana couldn't hold back her tears as she said her last goodbye to her grandfather. Her grandfather had loved her so much. "Diana, you have a very beautiful heart," he had told her. "This heart will take you very far." After the funeral ceremony, Diana went to her grandfather's house. While collecting his personal belongings there, she found a note in the desk drawer. Diana's name was written on it. When she opened the note, these were written in her grandfather's handwriting. "My dear Diana, if you're reading this note, it means I'm no longer with you. But know that I will always love you. You are a very special girl, Diana. You will do great things. Listen to your heart and never be afraid. I love you. Your grandfather." Diana started crying as she read this note. Her grandfather seemed to have written this note as if he knew what would happen in the future. A week after the funeral, Diana returned to her apartment in London. This apartment she shared with 3 girlfriends was her normal life. Here she wasn't a princess. She was an ordinary 19-year-old girl. "Diana, how are you?" roommate Carolyn asked. "The funeral must have been very difficult." "It was very difficult," Diana confessed. "I loved my grandfather very much." "And there's this Charles thing," another friend Virginia added. "Sarah told us Prince Charles came to see you." Diana smiled shyly. "It was a very strange day. On the same day both my grandfather died, and Charles came. "So, how was he?" Carolyn asked excitedly. "Is he handsome?" "Handsome," Diana admitted, "but I was more impressed by how kind he was. He was very understanding." "Will he call you again?" Virginia wondered. "I don't know." Diana shrugged. "Maybe nothing like that will happen." But Diana was wrong. 3 days later, the phone rang. "May I speak with Lady Diana Spencer?" a formal voice asked. "This is Diana," Diana replied. "This is James, Prince Charles's private secretary. His Royal Highness would like to speak with you." Diana's heart started beating wildly. Charles was calling her. A few seconds later, Charles's voice came. "Diana, hello. How are you?" "I'm fine, thank you," Diana replied excitedly. "How was your grandfather's funeral?" Charles asked. Diana was very touched that Charles called about the funeral. "It was difficult, but it was a beautiful ceremony. Thank you for calling." "Diana," Charles paused a bit. "There's opera tonight. Would you like to come with me?" Diana's breath caught. Was Charles inviting her to the opera? Yes, I'd love to," Diana finally replied. "Great. I'll pick you up at 7:30. There's La Traviata at the Royal Opera House." After Diana hung up the phone, she screamed. Her roommates came running. "What happened?" Virginia asked. "Charles invited me to the opera," Diana said, jumping. Her friends were excited too. But Diana suddenly stopped. "What will I wear?" Diana panicked. "I don't have a suitable dress for the opera." They spent the entire afternoon looking for a dress. Finally, they found Virginia's black dress. Elegant, but not too flashy. At exactly 7:30 that evening, the royal car arrived. Diana was very excited, but also nervous. Charles got out of the car and greeted Diana. "You look very beautiful tonight," he said. "Thank you," Diana replied shyly. On the way to the opera house, Charles talked to Diana about opera. Diana didn't know much about opera, but she enjoyed listening to Charles. "La Traviata is a very emotional opera," Charles explained. "It's about love and sacrifice." During the opera, Diana watched Charles without missing a beat. Charles obviously loved opera very much. Diana was also affected by the music, but watching Charles was more interesting. During intermission, Charles asked Diana, "How do you find it?" "Very beautiful," Diana replied sincerely. "The music is wonderful." "I suppose you like opera?" Charles seemed pleased. "Actually, this is my first time," Diana confessed. "But I really liked it." Charles found this honesty very charming. Diana wasn't fake at all. When the opera ended, Charles invited Diana to dinner. They sat in a small, intimate restaurant. "Today was very beautiful," Charles said. "It's very pleasant spending time with you." "I had a lot of fun too," Diana replied. "But this is very different for me." "What's different?" Charles wondered. "This lifestyle," Diana explained. "I live a very simple life. I'm a normal girl with my roommates." Charles found this simplicity very attractive. The other aristocratic girls he knew were always flashy. Diana was different. "Simplicity is a beautiful thing," Charles said. "I also sometimes want to be normal." That evening when Charles dropped Diana off at home, he hesitated at the door. "Diana, may I see you again?" Diana's face lit up. "Of course. I'm going to Balmoral next week." "Will you come?" Diana was shocked. Balmoral was Charles's estate in Scotland. This was a very big invitation. This is very big." Diana hesitated. "Think about it," Charles smiled. "Don't rush." Diana couldn't sleep at all that night. Charles wanted her to come to Balmoral. What did this mean? The next morning, her roommates wanted to know all the details. "He invited me to Balmoral," Diana excitedly told them. "This is very serious," Carolyn said. "He only invites special people to Balmoral." "What should I do?" Diana asked. "You'll go, of course," Virginia shouted. "This is Prince Charles." But Diana had a fear inside. If she went to Balmoral, she would be distancing herself from her normal life. This was a big step. Her father called that afternoon. "Diana, I heard from Charles. He's invited you to Balmoral." "Yes, Father." "What should I do?" "Listen to your heart, Diana." "What would your grandfather say?" Diana remembered her grandfather's note. "Listen to your heart and never be afraid." "I'll go," Diana said decisively. With that decision, Diana Spencer's life would completely change. Her grandfather's death had made her vulnerable. Charles's interest had excited her. When these two emotions combined, Diana made the biggest decision of her life: going to Balmoral. At the time, Diana didn't know what this meant. She was only 19 years old. She had lost her grandfather, and Prince Charles liked her. Diana's friends noticed that she changed after this decision. She was now staying home less, waiting more for Charles to call. "Diana, you're changing," Virginia said one day. "How am I changing?" Diana asked. "You're not spending time with us like before. You're constantly thinking about Charles." Diana paused for a moment. Her friend was right. After meeting Charles, she was focusing less on her normal life. "Maybe I'm growing up," Diana replied. "Or you're heading for a big mistake," Carolyn murmured. This remark made Diana think, was she really doing the right thing? But it was too late now. She had stepped into Charles's world. The Balmoral invitation was the beginning of this. Diana found herself thinking about Charles, even while working as a kindergarten teacher in those final weeks. The children noticed she was distracted. "Miss Diana, why are you sad?" little Emily asked. "I'm not sad, sweetheart," Diana smiled. "I'm just trying to make big decisions." "What kind of decisions?" Emily wondered. Diana looked at the innocent face of the little girl. How could she explain to a 4-year-old child that her life was about to change? "Sometimes adults make difficult decisions, Emily. Just like when you decide which toy to choose. It's easy for me," Emily smiled. "I choose the one I love most." Diana smiled at the child's innocent answer. If only it were that simple for her too. Diana's last normal days passed like this. Waiting for Charles, spending time with friends for the last time, playing games with children, and being an ordinary teacher. The night before going to Balmoral, Diana looked in the mirror for a long time. Tomorrow she would go to Scotland, step into Prince Charles's world. Maybe she could never be ordinary Diana Spencer again. That night, Diana looked at her grandfather's photo. "Grandfather," she whispered, "I hope I'm doing the right thing." In the photo, her grandfather seemed to be smiling, as if saying, "Listen to your heart, Diana." The next morning, the car that would take Diana to Balmoral came. Diana hugged her roommates one last time. "Call us," Carolyn said, "and be careful." "Everything will be fine," Diana replied. But Diana was wrong. That day she went to Balmoral wasn't just the end of Diana Spencer's story, but the beginning of Princess Diana's story. As the car moved, Diana looked back. Her apartment, her friends, her normal life were getting farther away. Ahead of her was an unknown future. Diana didn't know at that moment that this journey that began with her grandfather's death would make her the most famous woman in the world. But also the loneliest woman. Sometimes, life's biggest turning points come at the most unexpected moments. That turning point in Diana's life was her grandfather's death and Prince Charles's interest happening on the same day. Was this just a coincidence, or was it fate? Diana would never know. But that day, July 30th, 1980, was the last day of 19-year-old Diana Spencer's normal life. From then on, it was Princess Diana's story,